You're listening to the Big and Tall Sports Show with your hosts Pete Apostolopoulos and Alec Reid.
What is going on? Big and Tall Sports Show, Pete Apostolopoulos, Alec Reid, episode number 16.
16, buddy.
It's March, my friend. It's March. It's St. Paddy's Day Friday.
Gotta love it.
Massive weekend coming up for the boys. Lots to talk about. Alec, episode number 16. What do we got today? Who we got?
We have one of the greatest, arguably the greatest quarterback of all time. After Tom Brady this year, I don't know. We're going to go with Joe Montana as our greatest number 16 of all time. I don't think there's really an argument there. Four Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs.
We don't like to do the football or the baseball or the hockey or whatever. We don't like to do the same sport back-to-back weeks. But I think with Joe, we can make an exception.
Yeah, I think we can make an exception on this one. So...
All right, brother. Let's fire
it up. We're Pete, you want to start us off? Actually, I guess it's my turn to start us off with my ridiculously in-depth trivia question of the day.
Got it right again.
Pete always gets it right.
First guess.
Yeah,
I needed like 3 questions.
You needed some hints. So be sure to tweet at us throughout the show. Tweet at us your questions.
I didn't get any hints. I asked some questions.
And I
needed
answers.
A time period.
Okay, fair enough.
Give the time period.
No. They can if they want to ask questions, you can ask me questions at Big and Tall Sport to my ridiculously in-depth trivia question of the day, which is which player has played the most NCAA tournament games of all time? All right, which player has played the most NCAA tournament games of all time?
Can I give a word of advice to people thinking about this?
Sure.
I overthink it. It's right in front of you. If you watch college basketball, you know who the guy is.
Yeah, you should. Pete, let's move on pretty quick. I want to get to the second half and get to some questions and talk NCAA March Madness. If you are just tuning in, be sure to tweet at us your questions at Big and Tall Sport. You can get we can get your thoughts and get your answer to the trivia question, and we will get to that in the second half of the show. But Pete, let's move on to our King of the Castle for the week. Pete, our Mike Ketzel King of the Castle. Who is it this week, buddy?
I guess I should talk into the microphone.
Yeah, really.
Our Mike Ketzel King of the Castle is none other than Adam Hadwin, Canadian PGA golfer. He won the Valspar Championship. It's his first PGA Tour win. And with that, he qualifies for the Masters. Alec, I think he had some previous plans over the course of the Masters weekend that you dug up.
He's actually getting married the week before and then is going to be on his honeymoon on that week.
Was going
to be. I think the Masters is a little bit more important.
Trump card.
So shout out there.
Yeah, played really well. We both loved the video when he was talking to his caddy on the tee box, and then he turned to his caddy. He was giving him tips, and he's like, yeah, I'm just going to hit the shit out of it and see what happens. And it was just awesome. So perfect because there was a break and the announcers
and he's so Canadian, too.
Yeah. He's from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan.
Yeah, it doesn't get much more Canadian than that.
I saw a good tweet, and it was about Adam Hadwin, and it said, how is there a guy from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan who's playing golf and not hockey? Or something. It was like something along those lines.
I mean, it's kind of true, though.
Yeah, it was
like,
good.
Really.
Adam Hadwin, shout out. PGA Tour win number 1, hopefully first of many.
Hopefully. The second coming of Mike Weir. Let's hope. So our nominee for the week for our Mike Ketzel King of the Castle was none other than Brad Gushue. We talked about a little bit about the Brier last week, but the Tim Hortons Brier wrapped up, and Brad Gushue and the team from Newfoundland and Labrador, the hometown boys playing in Newfoundland, won the Brier, Brad Gushue's first ever Brier victory, and then he did something awesome where he gave the trophy to the fans, and they crowd surfed this trophy across, which I thought was awesome. Brad Gushue, probably one of my favorite curlers, just a real nice guy. And I'm happy to see Well, I mean, how else do you describe a curler?
Canadian at his finest.
Yeah, he's a real nice guy. So Brad Gushu, backup, runner-up for Mike Hetzel, King of the Castle.
Every king needs a jester, and this week, much to my displeasure, I guess, because I really, really liked this, but it has to go to Rougned Odor for his bat flip on a 400-foot single to center field in the WBC. Odor was an all-star last year. He punched Jose Bautista in the face because Jose Bautista bat flipped. So the bat flip guy then decides to do one of his own, and it was great. Like A+. If he hit it out, it was an A+. I'm all for bat flips.
Oh, yeah.
We've had this conversation on the podcast before, but in case you haven't listened to the earlier ones, I'm like big proponent of the bat flip. Like if you get one and you want to have some fun with it, by all means. And you know what? If you're a pitcher,
I'm bat flipping every time I hit a dinger in men's slow pitch.
If you're a pitcher who complains about bat flips, then don't let him hit the ball 500 feet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at the end of the day, I'm all for it, but this was bad. Like you got to know it's out.
Well, have you ever seen the one? He was a Korean baseball player.
Yeah, the guy.
He hit this like.
It happens all the time
foul.
there because they're all about it, dude. In the Japanese league and the Korean league and stuff, they're all about it. They have so much fun with that. In Japan, when I was watching the WBC games, there was chants going on. It was like it was a soccer game. But yeah,
don't you wish we had that atmosphere in the States? Like, don't you wish?
Yeah, I do.
Don't you wish the fans were that passionate?
I've never experienced it, but one of my things has always been to go to like a big European soccer match because of that atmosphere that you can get. Yeah. I totally wish it was like that, but we're too focused on negativity and getting mad at the guy wearing the stripes or the guy on the team who's making millions of dollars to play a game or the guy who's in charge of all of them. You know, there's always somebody to be mad at here. Over there, they just kind of get hammered and hang out in the stands and bring big drums.
And then they kill each other.
Yeah,
if it's a soccer match.
And then they
just throw flares at each
other.
Yeah. Pete, I want to get quickly, before we talk about March Madness, why don't we get a Twitter poll question out? Pete, you have a Twitter poll question for us this week. This was your idea, so I'll let you take it. What's our Twitter poll question if you want to tweet it out for us this week?
We're gonna get right into the Twitter poll here. We're not okay. So
I want to get into it so we can get some answers.
Okay, fair enough. Can you do it while I explain
I'll do it.
Okay, so Alec and I will both be talking a lot about our brackets. It's March Madness. USC Providence currently going on. UC Davis defeated North Carolina Central earlier in the 16-16 game. I'm a big college basketball guy. We talked about it a little bit last week. Tonight is going to be a lot of talk about it, obviously with the games kicking off tomorrow, the round of 64. So we decided to throw out a little Twitter poll. Neither one of us have a number one winning. Neither one of us have a number one in the finals. I think I have one.
We have the same.
We have the same Final Four, but we didn't do the brackets together. Like I actually thought about it and put some planning into it, and Alec just kind of looked at it for 10 minutes and let it fly.
If you read my article on the Big and Tall blog, I wrote an article about how to March Madness if you don't watch any college basketball like me.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna write one. I have one written that I'm gonna put out tomorrow morning, basically talking about my big matchups that you should be watching the next couple days. Neither here nor there. Anyways, to the Twitter question, we want to know which number one seed do you think is going to have the best chance of winning the NCAA national championship? Now, I have Kansas. I think I have Kansas, and I think Kansas is my only one. Kansas is the only one we have in the Final Four?
Yeah, Kansas is our Final Four pick.
So Bill Self, Josh Jackson, going to the Final Four. I have them losing to UCLA. I'm big on the Bruins. I'm big on that fast-paced offense, running up and down the court, scoring a ton of points. I believe in ball. Yeah. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that.
So, yeah, Twitter poll, Gonzaga, Kansas, Villanova, last year's champions, or
UNC,
University of North Carolina. Those are your number ones. If I had to, obviously, given what I've said already about my bracket, I would obviously vote for Kansas. I think that they're a really complete team. They have a lot of veteran guys, which is somewhat of a rarity on good teams in this tournament sometimes, especially with all these one-and-done guys coming through now. But yeah, let us know what you think at Big and Tall Sport, or you could get us on our personal ones if you really want to at Big Pete 44, at Alec Reid 14. And yeah, Alec, K.Fitness Big Man of the Week. Who do we got?
Standing at 7 feet tall, 244 pounds, from the Minnesota Timberwolves, Karl Anthony Towns led the NBA in points per game this week. 4 games played, 31.5 points per game over the week. That's a pretty easy one. He was the leading scorer from Wednesday to Wednesday.
Very underrated.
Very underrated. And Minnesota, a team I think is a sleeper pick. If they make it into the playoffs and don't face Golden State. That's my key. Watch out for Minnesota if they don't play Golden State in the first round, because Golden State's going to hammer whoever they play in the first round. But Karl Anthony Towns, Big Man of the Week, 7 foot, 244 pounds. Our K.Fitness Big Man of the Week.
Oh, great question.
There are some good questions rolling
coming in.
So far, no correct answers to our trivia question, which was which player has played the most NCAA tournament games in history. So be sure to answer that if you have an answer. But I want to move on to our backup performance of the week from the San Jose Sharks, Aaron Dell. Probably never heard that name before in your life.
I have. I play NHL, though.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Stopped 29 of 30 shots versus Dallas. I think he started 16 games, 10 wins. So respectable backup goalie. But 29 of 30 shots in a win against Dallas is pretty good.
They have Martin Jones, so he's a workhorse. They have one of the best teams in the league. Came off the finals last year.
But
you know what?
But who is Aaron Dell?
Yeah, exactly. And
So-
Dallas has some guys who can put the puck in the net.
Exactly.
And they've been hot lately. So
Exactly.
you know what? Aaron Dell, shout out, back of the week. Okay, I'm gonna take this one. Our Don't Be That Guy of the week comes from it was a high school game, right?
It was I don't even know if it was a
think
high school game.
It was like a
women's
girls
softball game.
girls softball game. They were probably like 16 absolute maximum. Was it in your post today? Did you put it in your post?
Yeah, I did. I put it in my my WTF
So it's
Wednesdays.
in Alec's WTF Wednesdays post today. You can see the video of it. Basically, in this girls softball game, there was a batter who. So in softball, they have things called slashers, which are like leadoff hitters, 2 hitters. And basically, they just try to hit the top of the ball and hit the ball the other way and basically use their speed to get to first base. So this girl hits like a little dinky ground ball to the left side, beats it out, clean, whatever. The throw comes, and Mr. Umpire, who's watching the whole time, calls her out after, 3 strides through the bag?
Well, I actually got it here. I'm actually gonna get this on camera.
We can do that now?
Yeah, we got the capability. So if you're watching the video stream, here it is.
Oh.
So Pete, we're gonna watch this.
I
We're gonna
wanna
break
see
it down. You want me to turn the camera to you?
Yeah, turn the...
Here, I'll turn.
Okay.
Just give me a sec. Here.
This is mayhem here. I didn't even know we could... Oh, wow. Look at this.
There it is, right there. Look at that high quality too.
That is good quality.
Shout out to the little kid in the front who screams his head off.
So yeah.
You ready for this?
Yeah. So play it.
Here we go.
So
a little
she hits her little
roll
slash,
to the left side.
little roller, little bunt.
Man, she's safe.
1, 2, 3, 4
And it's in
strides.
now.
4 strides through the base.
Let's
Play
watch
it
it
again.
again.
Play it one more time. She's 4 strides
Here
through
we
the
go.
base. I guess he had like a dinner reservation of some sort.
That's what I thought.
1, 2, 3. And she did the
she's
she
out.
did the jump too. You're not
Like,
supposed to do the jump.
Okay, we're
from
gonna
the
watch
bag.
one more time. Do you think that she might have missed the bag?
No, because she did like that lunge. You're never supposed to lunge at the bag. You're always supposed to just run right through it. And she does the lunge, beats it. No, she was right in the middle of the bag.
Yeah.
This guy's just out to lunge.
No, he's totally just done with this and just
This
wants
is
to go
great
home.
now, by the way.
I know.
We can actually show the Don't Be That Guy.
Be nice if the music worked. That's why we were a
Yeah.
little late getting on. So this computer works now, but this computer is not working. So we're gonna be using this a lot more. So if you're not watching the video stream, be sure to watch it.
Yeah.
We'll get it going.
So don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah.
One more time.
It's just so bad. Like,
Here we go.
look at this.
This is a joke.
Clean.
And she's safe. Out.
Look at the coach. The coach that I would love to. If that
I wish
video clip was
that
like
kept
10
going.
seconds.
Yeah.
If it was like 10 seconds longer, that was definitely like somebody Snapchatting it or something.
Yeah.
If that was 10 seconds longer, I guarantee you there would have been some words
Mayhem.
exchanged.
Yeah.
Yeah. So don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Okay. Moving on.
Be sure to get your Twitter questions in. We're gonna
Twitter plug.
we're gonna answer those in the second half. But for now, outrageous predictions. Mine seem to be more outrageous than yours, but I think we're pretty even on this one.
Mine are outrageous, but like they're
Realistic.
not. I wouldn't say realistic, but if they do come to fruition, it's like wow, like he called
it. Yeah. See, mine.
Yours, it's like okay, like you were just talking out of your ass and like it happened to happen.
Kevin. Well, mine was one of them was Kevin Durant would get cheered when he went back to OKC.
Yeah, like
All right. So this one, I actually think I got a shot on this one. My outrageous prediction.
by the way, for those listening, from here on in, it's pretty much basketball and a bit of WBC. So
Yeah. Sorry.
Sorry.
A.
Yeah. So deal with it.
Yeah. So my outrageous prediction is there will be no number 5 seeds advancing through the first round. Little backstory to this: if you read my blog post, you would know that a number 12 seed has advanced every single year since 2008. All right, and only once has there been 3 number 12 seeds that have won in the first round. So my prediction is for the first time ever, all number 12 seeds will win in the first round. That is my outrageous prediction. We have Pete. What are the 5-12 games? We have Minnesota versus Mid Tennessee, Iowa State versus Nevada, Notre Dame versus Princeton, and UVA versus UNC Wilmington. So I'm saying
dangerous number 12s there.
UNC Wilmington over UVA. Nevada is going to beat Iowa State. Mid Tennessee is going to beat Minnesota, and Princeton is going to beat Notre Dame. Those are my 5. That's my outrageous prediction.
Continuing with the 12 seeds, I am saying that a double-digit seed will make the Elite 8, specifically out of the Midwest Conference to lose to Kansas in the Elite 8 final, or the Elite 8 region champion, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
You have 3 teams there that could do serious damage. Oklahoma State is the most efficient offense in the country. They score a ton of points, and they haven't necessarily played great as of late, but they can score the basketball, and they had an okay tournament at the I think they're Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, they're Big 12.
They're playing Michigan in the first round, which is going to be a tough game because Michigan's probably the hottest team in the country right now. But I like Oklahoma State. Nevada, very underrated team.
The thing with Nevada is they match up well with both teams that they'll be facing up against. You got going against Iowa State, it's going to be a high-scoring game. And then the winner of Purdue-Vermont, I think they match up well against either team. Yeah. So I think, and then,
shout out to our boy Trey.
Shout out to Trey.
Vermont.
13. I ended watching that game.
They're in tough.
Oh, yeah.
Purdue's good.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I think the line on it was like 10. I think they'll cover. I think they play well enough, and they surprise some teams. And I've actually heard seen some predictions about it that some people actually have Vermont maybe winning because Purdue hasn't played all that great lately.
It wouldn't shock me. I still am hesitant to pick them. I think Purdue's a pretty good team.
Purdue can shoot the basketball.
Yeah, so
and if they're shooting, it's going to be tough for Vermont.
It's going to be very tough.
No matter what they're doing, especially because Vermont likes to take their time going up the floor too. So yeah, a double-digit seed. I have Oklahoma State and that offense making it to the Elite 8 against Kansas.
I have Nevada.
I don't. In that side of the bracket in the Midwest, that bottom kind of 3-4 games is just a mess because I don't think Louisville was deserving of a 2 seed. I don't think that Oregon was deserving of a 3 seed. And
why do you say that? Because
Oregon hasn't played. They play in a good conference, but they haven't been really great. They've lost some key games within their own conference and within the Pac-12 coming down the stretch. They don't have Chris Boucher in the middle, who's going to be huge because that's their guy in the middle along with Dylan Brooks, who is the Pac-12 Player of the Year. And you know what? I think Iona's going to give them a run because Iona plays up-tempo, fast, up and down the court. And I don't know if Oregon plays a similar style, but I think they might get they don't have a lot of depth they don't use a big rotation. And there's a few teams that could be their Achilles heel in this tournament. We'll talk about it more in the second half. But yeah, I just don't like, and I love Rhode Island too. I love the way they match up well. They play defense. And as we talked before the show, I'm big on defense and turnover ratio, especially in this tournament in those big stretches where, teams can go on a 10-0 run like that, and you need a big stop when you need a big stop. So yeah, I like Oklahoma State coming out of that because I think that they can score the basketball. They have so many weapons that they can use.
So let's go to our matchup of the week. I mean, matchups for Pete,
matchups
since
for
he
me.
likes to outshine me. I actually think I took one of your matchups of the week for this one.
You did.
That's why you get first and you write it first.
Yeah.
So I will take it then. I'll go first. I sort of touched on it before. Iowa State, number 5 versus number 12, Nevada. Both teams averaging over 80 points a game. Two of the best shooting teams, two of the best scoring teams, two teams that love to shoot threes. From a fun standpoint, for me, I don't like slow basketball. I want to see teams shoot threes and get buckets. So I'm going with Iowa State versus Nevada, and that's gonna be a fun game. I'm predicting 90 points a team. It's just gonna be
90 points a team. You psycho.
It's gonna. They're averaging 80 points a game, and both teams are just not gonna play defense.
Definitely take the over.
Oh, 100% take the over.
Okay, so basically, like I said, I'm writing that. I'm going to throw out a little prediction, kind of best couple games from each region that you should be watching over the next few days. So I already touched on, so I'll go through 4 of them right now, and then the rest of them you'll be able to see tomorrow morning. So I got Michigan, Oklahoma State, just touched on that one from the Midwest. I have SMU and the number 11 that they get, either USC or Providence. Providence is smacking USC right now, 44-29 at the half. Either way, SMU is a very intriguing team to me. They use a short rotation. They only use 6 guys. And all their starters are between 6'6" and 6'9". So they have big guards but small forwards, and everybody's kind of just average. They play a good two-way game, though, but again, this is one of those teams where endurance might play a factor, and both USC and Providence are really good in the middle. So that could be a good matchup. I have Minnesota and Middle Tennessee. A lot of people picking Mid-Tennessee to upset them. I think they should have been higher than a 12. Minnesota, one of the best defending teams in the country. Hasn't played all that great. Didn't have a good tournament, but here they are as a number 5. And finally, I got Northwestern and Vandy. Northwestern's first ever trip to the March Madness tournament. I think they're going to win. I really like how diverse their offense is. But I think it'll be a dogfight, especially with Vandy. Vandy very good at creating turnovers. And they're in the SEC, and I'm not big on a lot of SEC schools in this tournament this year. So I think Northwestern's going to get them, but I still think it'll be a really good game.
So we're going to have to wrap it up on that. I want to take a quick break, and then we'll get back into some Twitter questions. And this is your last chance to answer my in-depth trivia question of the day, which is, who is the player who's played the most games in NCAA tournament history? So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. You tired of dropping your phone? Then look no further than the MyKetzel Smart Case Handler. The MyKetzel Smart Case Handler is a brand new smartphone accessory that will fulfill your need to secure your phone in your hand, all while eliminating the risk of dropping it. To find out how this new innovative product accomplishes this, visit athandsmartcase.com. That's ATHAND smartcase.com. Available for most smartphone styles at an affordable cost. It's MyKetzel at athandsmartcase.com. Once again, that's ATHAND smartcase.com.
This is Kofi and 2 Sugars from K-Dot Fitness. If you guys are looking for tips, tricks, you want to lift heavy, or you want to lose some weight, or you want to step on stage and get some free advice, take a look at my Instagram at Kofi and 2 Sugars, or you can go on YouTube at KDOT Fitness.
Got mine, I metamorph. See the pens rise to the sounds of the silver swords. Cause I was caught skipping my classes. Had to find a way to shine my light to the masses. Cause I was caught skipping my classes. Had to find a way to shine my light to the masses. Don't know where my mind's gone. No rights from no wrong. Birds sing the same song. Lines stay like Teflon. We stay strong, stay true and get long. Money for the fam while I'm jamming with the best. Yo, I had a dime that made some change. I told myself anything would be in my range. Did my time, I made my way. The path I paved, I take till I'm in my grave. No slave when I whip the master. I take back.
And we are back. The Big and Tall Sports Show. Second half. Shout out to Luke Mann for Teflon for our break song there. Let's get quickly into my answer to the Twitter question. Which player has played the most games in NCAA tournament history? Pete once again got it right. Pete?
Duke. I hate Christian Laettner.
Don't we all?
Boy, do I hate Christian. No. Yeah, Christian Laettner, arguably the best college basketball, maybe the best college. I'm trying to. When I answered the question, I was trying to think like what other college athletes at that level had that run and that impact on the sport. Like I'm sure we could talk about some football players, but in college basketball, this guy was the best there was.
Yeah,
I think
only
he's the best
like
he was on the dream team.
He was, and yeah, like I don't even know if I can name any college football players that were that good, or at least that dominant. Because
were there any that was there a college athlete, an 18-year-old kid who was hated in sports more than Christian Laettner?
No.
And will there be?
No. Christian Laettner is like they did a documentary called "I Hate Christian Laettner." Will they ever make a documentary about? Maybe
that was a good. Have you seen the documentary? It's really
only
good.
person I'm thinking. Lonzo Ball.
Maybe his dad.
Yeah, I hate LeVar Ball. So Christian Laettner played the most games, played 23 tournament games. And when you think about it, the most you can play in the tournament is 6. So doing the math, he won 2 national championships. So there's 6 games there. Went to another one. So there's another 6 games, puts him up to 18. Obviously played 5 in the year that he didn't go to the finals. So 23 games, 21 wins, still an NCAA tournament record. Also holds the records for most free throws attempted, most free throws scored, and most points scored overall in the tournament. I hate Christian Laettner. Most games played in NCAA tournament history. So Pete, we'll talk one quick non-NCAA question from Kevin McDonald, good friend of ours. And
shout out KMAC, RTA, baseball team.
And a writer for CUSN. Should Manny Ramirez's contract, Man Rams, should a 44-year-old have that much freedom?
Have you seen the contract?
I have seen the contract. Free sushi, unlimited sushi.
So Manny Ramirez, for those of you who've lived under a rock for the last 15 years in sports, one of the biggest personalities and one of the best players of my generation growing up, PEDs, all that stuff. Take it for what you will, Manny can play ball. Manny could play. And so now he's 44, trying to make a comeback, I guess. And he's playing in the Japanese league. So in his contract, Manny Ramirez has 3 things that jump out at me. Number 1, he has unlimited sushi. Whenever he wants sushi, they got to give it to him. I guess any 24 hours, 7 days a week.
That's
if
ridiculous.
Manny wants sushi, they got to hook him up with some sushi. Number 2, practices are optional. The translator at the press conference, his direct quote from reading the contract was, "Oh, apparently practices are optional." Even the translator was surprised at that.
I know.
So all he can eat sushi. He doesn't need a practice. I mean, he's Manny.
Well, he's old. He can't practice that much. He's old. He's 44.
And his living arrangements are he gets a Mercedes and a personal driver, and he's staying in a hotel that's $700 US a night.
Ridiculous.
So,
but he's Manny Ramirez. He's going to sell jerseys.
yeah. And on his jersey it says Manny on the back.
Awesome.
So he doesn't have the
That's
Asian.
incredible.
He doesn't have it in. I don't know if it's in Japanese or what's
It
going
would be
on.
it'd be in Japanese, but this is incredible. It's almost comical how much of a joke this is, because like Manny Ramirez right now is huge in Japan. How long has he been playing there for?
Manny?
Yeah.
It's his first year going.
I thought
He was in Korea before.
Korea. Okay, sorry. So
He
I
was
got
in
that
Korea
confused.
before.
But yeah, he's 44 years old. Like, is he that good?
Well, they asked he's one of the smart, like David Ortiz. I've seen interviews with David Ortiz where he said like Manny Ramirez is the smartest hitter I've ever played with. Like, I've heard so many people in baseball say that, and I mean, it's hard to argue. The guy was a stud. For PEDs or not, man, he could hit.
Yeah.
Coming up with those Cleveland teams that should have done more than they did with Tomei and him, and all those guys that they had, Albert Bell. The guy could play, and if he wants to play and somebody wants to pay him a ton of money and give him free sushi and don't let him practice, he'd be stupid if he said no. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'd take it for the Mercedes and the living arrangements. I'd do it for less than that. I'd like the practice as optional as well. But
Kev just followed up and said they're expecting him to be like Mr. Baseball from the movie with Tom Selleck. I mean, that's a good point, but I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if Manny hit 20 bombs.
Oh, how much? I'm not a huge international baseball guy. How much worse is the Japanese league compared to the MLB?
Basically, Japan and Korea are like pretty good. Like, they're
So put it into my terms. Is it NFL to CFL, or are we talking NHL to AHL? Or are we talking
I
NHL
think it's
to...
closer. So I would say the Korean league is like the bottom one of the three, and then I think it's the Nippian league is the Japanese Nippon league.
Nippon?
Yeah, and then the KBO is the Korean league, Korean
Yeah.
Baseball Organization. I think that's what that stands for. Then it's the Japanese league, and then obviously the majors. But I mean, there are a ton of guys who play in the minors and go over there and just kill it and make a ton of money and make a really good living, and everybody loves them there. Like, they're superstars there. In Japan, like, baseball players are the guys, dude.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've never actually, like, obviously I don't follow it closely. There's this kid there right now. He's our age, or my age. His name is Owen talked about him. That guy Otani.
Yeah.
This guy, they call him the Japanese Babe Ruth is his nickname.
Wow.
He's 22. He throws like 97, 98 miles an hour average fastball, and he hit like 300 with 40 bombs last year, or something stupid like that. Like, he's the 3-hitter, and he's the ace on the staff.
Shohei Otani.
Shohei Otani.
Shohei SHOHEI.
Yeah, the guy's ridiculous, and he's gonna be coming to the bigs in the next few years. He didn't play in the WBC because he was hurt.
So in Nippon professional baseball from 2013 to 2016,
What are his numbers? Keep in
275.
mind, I think he's my age or a year older.
Yeah, 275, 40 bombs in 3 years, 135 RBIs, 491 slugging percentage, 229 hits. Not to mention the fact that he also pitched.
He won the Cy Young last year, didn't he?
Yeah, and he hit 40 bombs in 3 years.
How many did he hit last year?
I don't have that on me right now. I can look that up for you if you'd like. But I kind of want to move on to talk some...
Okay. The point is, the guy's nasty.
Yeah, I
kind
kinda
of
wanna talk-
Japan. He's going to play against Manny. Manny's going to be crushing sushi in the clubhouse in between ABs. I'm assuming he's DHing. Do they have a DH?
He'd have to DH. I don't know. Does the World Baseball... Well, he's playing first or he's DHing?
Manny's never played first.
Yeah, but he can't move. You expect him
He's
to
not
play
gonna
left field?
I mean, listen, he played left field at Fenway Park. Not well, but he played left field at Fenway Park for like 10 years. So, I mean, that's the hardest place to play left field, I think, in baseball.
Fair. From what I'm hearing, it doesn't have a designated hitter.
Interesting. That could be interesting.
Yeah.
So, Manny's playing right field.
Depends on the park. You might just put him at whatever short fence you have and hope
How
for the
big
best.
is he? Now, like, how big do you think he is? He's got to gain some weight. Like, when he played, he was a big guy.
Depends on how much sushi he's eating.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, he's going to be crushing in the dugout, and all the other guys will be looking at him on the bench like...
He'll be like I wouldn't put it past him to be like David Ortiz by the time he's done. Like
All
that
right.
size. So
We've spent enough time on this.
I want to get to your dad's tweet. One of our number one fans, Rick Apostolopoulos.
Number one
Madness-
fan by default, because I'm his kid.
I would argue that my girlfriend is a bigger fan.
Phew.
Has your dad missed a show?
Those are fighting words. I don't know. You have to ask him.
But Rick tweets at us, Madness predictions. Notre Dame and Oregon make nice runs, but Gonzaga beats Villanova for the title. Hashtag Papa Guru says. What do you think, Pete, on your dad's predictions?
So,
You want to throw some holes in it, or do you like them?
let me see where I have these. Yeah, so I got Notre Dame going to the Sweet 16 and losing to the Zags, which no shame in that. I think they'll play them tight. Oregon, like I said, they're missing one of their better, probably their second best player aside from Dylan Brooks, and they have a really tough. I don't want to say tough. I don't think tough is the right word, but they have a very weird part of the bracket where there's kind of a lot of teams in that, like I said, in that bottom 3-4 games where you have Creighton, Rhode Island, Oregon, Iona, Michigan, Oklahoma State, and Louisville, because I think they'll still beat Jacksonville State. But there's a lot of uncertainty with how those teams are ranked there, and it could either be a huge like jumble of like crap, or everybody could get hot and every game could be a buzzer beater. Like, or like I wouldn't be surprised if Oregon slapped everybody and went and played against Kansas in the Elite Eight, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Iona beat them in the first round. So like,
Well, half of it's just who gets hot at the right time.
exactly,
right?
and
So-
they haven't played great coming into the tournament, and they're missing Boucher in the middle, which could be huge if they match up. The thing is, they don't really have teams around them. They don't really have teams around them that have big inside present. But it'll have to be Dylan Brooks doing it by himself.
Yeah,
Which
well,
I mean, he was Pac-12 Player of the Year, so I mean, stranger things have happened. But I could see them. I think they'll be
here's
an
my
interesting team to
question.
watch.
How exciting of a matchup would it be if we had Oregon and UCLA meet in the Final Four?
Well, I don't like.
I'm just asking, how excited would you be to see Lonzo Ball versus Dylan Brooks? Because I have Kansas beating Oregon and then obviously playing UCLA in the Final Four. But imagine Dylan Brooks versus Lonzo Ball. Would that not be the greatest shootout of all time?
So, Lonzo Ball is very. First of all, I think Jason Tatum from Duke and Josh Jackson are gonna end up being the two top picks in the draft, depending on who goes. I think they're the two most complete players. I don't know. I mean, that would be great, but again, this tournament's such a crapshoot that like it's one game, dude, and they're like kids younger than us that are playing. Like Lonzo
Sure.
Ball and I think Dylan Brooks is my age, and maybe a year younger than me, and Lonzo Ball is a freshman.
Yeah.
That's a lot of we talk about Kentucky.
With their one and
Cal,
dones.
with their one and done with Coach Cal, which is fine. He's like the most upfront guy about it, and that's fine and dandy, whatever. But they get a high seed every year because they're a good team. But I don't know. I don't have Kentucky going deep. I have them losing to Wichita State. Like, you know what I mean? But again, like we could fill out these brackets and get every single one wrong.
1 in 9.2 quintillion are your odds of getting a perfect bracket.
Exactly. So like we could sit here and talk about all we want. The point
Honestly,
I will say, sorry, really quick
Yep.
before you go, I didn't like some of the seeding, but it definitely created some. That's why you were asking me before about why a 10 seed is favorited by 6 points over a 7 seed.
Yeah,
Well,
that's kind of what I wanted to get to. That was Wichita State, a number 10 seed, is favored by 10 points over Dayton, a number 7 seed. Am I the only one that thinks that's crazy? Why is a team that, according to everyone who set up this bracket, is worse, a number 10 seed, which that puts them what, like 40th? 40th out of 64? Something like that? So how is a number 10 seed better than a number 7 seed? I mean, can you, like, everyone seems to be picking Wichita State to beat Dayton outright. So why is Dayton a number 7 and Wichita State's a 10? Why don't we just flip them? Like, I don't know. to me doesn't make any sense. If you're a higher ranked team, you should be favored. Period. Like, is anyone doubting that UNC is a better team than Texas Southern? UNC's a 1. Texas Southern's a 16.
But here's the thing. Like I said to you, it has nothing to do with the rankings or anything. It's who people are betting on.
But didn't the line? But didn't the line, the original betting line, start out with Wichita State being higher?
I think it was like maybe by like a point or two. Like it was like a pick.
But still,
it was like a pick game.
But even still in that circumstance.
Yeah, but look at all the games. VCU's a favorite. They're a 10 and a 7. VCU's favored by 2, I think.
Maybe it's just something with 10 sevens.
I'll look at it right now.
Maybe it's just something with 10 sevens. That's just a problem that needs to be had.
Like I said, the rankings weren't like look, USC and Providence were both 11s. Providence is cleaning UCLA out right now, or USC. Sorry.
Yeah,
they're killing them right now.
Well, but I mean that happens, right? Teams have those games. I'm just saying, for an underranked team, a 10 seed to be favored over a 7.
USC's making a bit of a run now.
What's the score?
52-43.
Yeah, you still got 9 points. Shout out to the Rams.
They were down 15 at the half.
Quick shout out to the Rams team.
Touch on that. I'm going to look at that.
Yeah, so if you guys don't follow U Sports and Canadian University Athletics, 1, you should. It's awesome. 2, the final 8, I guess, wrapped up this weekend. Carleton won its 7th, 8th, 9th. I don't know how many championships they've won in a row. It's getting ridiculous at this point. But they won their X amount of championships in a row, beating Ryerson, our school, in the finals. Ryerson at one point trailed by 24 and brought it back within 6. I think they almost had it within 4 and ended up losing by about 9,
Just
8
had
or
a
9.
couple of bad shots in
Yeah.
the end. Like, it was a great
It was
they
a
made
great
a great
game.
run, though,
They made it a great game. But I think, obviously, Ryerson beat Carleton in the OUAs, and it almost was kind of indicative of what we see in the NCAA tournament. Carleton got the ball, spread the ball around, got the ball down low, and worked the inside very well. And Ryerson shot 3s. And for the first half of the game, they missed them. Second half of the game, they made their shots, and they made it a great game. And this might kind of be a narrative that we see in the NCAA tournament.
All right. So here you go. Here's some numbers for you.
Big numbers coming in from Pete.
So right now, Middle Tennessee State is favored over Minnesota. That's a 12 and a 5. They're favored by 1 point. Vanderbilt is favored over Northwestern by 2.5. That's a 9 over an 8. Xavier is just 2-point underdogs to Maryland, 11 and a 6. Where's the VCU? Okay, St. Mary's is favored now in that game.
But like, you went through what, one region, and you've already got a couple that are wrong.
I'm just scrolling through the ones that are like kind of close.
But
my point to you is, like, at the end of the day, it's what people like. Rhode Island is a 1-point underdog in their matchup with Creighton. That's a 6-11. Kansas,
you got to figure
Kansas State 3. Like, they're going to be tight games.
Some of it is matchup based, right? Some teams match up well against other teams. Some teams are hot right now, etc. But I can't wrap my head around.
Wichita State's a 6-point favorite right now.
Okay, that's ridiculous.
I don't think so. They were grossly underranked. Wichita State.
But that's the thing
So remember that website I was telling you about?
Yeah.
So for those who don't know, we're running out of time. There's this website called Ken Palm, and it's advanced analytics, and it's this guy who literally started it, and like as for fun, and now it's like a big thing. Like almost every team uses his analytics. Like coaches are like personally like changing their systems because of this guy. Like whatever. So his advanced analytics grid. So he basically ranks teams on their efficiency and their probability within 100 possessions up and down the court, both ways, on offense and defense. And he looks at tempo, he looks at shot selection, he looks at a bunch of different things, and he basically comes on this number, which is adjusted efficiency margin, which is adjusted obviously to opponent and to also to take every variable possible and try to make them onto one level playing field for every single team in the NCAA Division I. So, with that, Wichita State, which is a 10 seed, is plus 26.41 on his offensive efficiency to defensive efficiency margin. That is, according to him, basically he's saying that Wichita State is the 8th best team in the country with this number. Now, I'm not saying solely based on this number that Wichita State should be a number 2 seed or a number 1 seed or whatever, but, and again, I'm not a big advanced stats guy, like we've talked about that before too, but I really think that they should have been a higher seed. And there were a couple teams, and now it that's what thing. It could throw the bracket off kilter now. Because again, like with these committees, it's like such a crap. Again, the whole thing's a crapshoot.
Well,
when it comes down to it.
It's ridiculous.
The whole thing's a crapshoot.
It's ridiculous.
Because you have it's all arbitrary because aside from the power conferences, okay, really, so in basketball you have the Pac-12, you have the ACC, which are probably your top 2. And then you kind of have Big 10, Big 12, SEC. Kind of in the middle, Big East,
American Conference. Like there's
But those are like the big kind of ones. Big East obviously used to be a lot bigger. Now it's obviously not as good, not as strong as we see with Syracuse not being in the tournament this year. But I think there's a lot more of these small teams like Mid-Tennessee, great team. Wichita State, good team. We're seeing more and more guys in college basketball in more and more years. How many more upsets are we seeing now? You know what I mean? Like it's not just go up and pick the number 1 seed to go. But I think it's a good thing.
No, I agree that it's a good thing. But then why is this an upset? Everyone agrees. Everyone seems to agree that Wichita State is the better team than Dayton.
It wouldn't be considered. It's not being considered an upset.
Well, exactly. But according to the seeding given out by the NCAA executives, a committee, whatever you want to call it, this is an upset. But it's a consensus pick that Wichita State's going to crush Dayton, and Wichita State will play Kentucky. And Wichita State has a good chance against Kentucky. That seems to be everyone's kind of consensus pick.
Yeah, but Wichita State could get waxed by 20 too.
Yeah, but
Dayton's a good team, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder because one of the guys on their team passed away. One of their best players.
But I'm not saying that Dayton isn't a good team. What I'm saying is Wichita State is a good team, and why are they a 10 seed? Because we all seem to agree they went 30-4 this year. I know they play in a garbage conference, but are we solely ranking them as a 10 seed because they're
the crap seed?
Okay,
the number 1 seed in the tournament, Gonzaga, played one top 50 opponent from December onwards. And it was St. Mary's, and they play them all the time because they're in the same conference, and they play them 3 times and beat them every time. So aside from St. Mary's, they beat teams by 30. And that's why they're number 1 in all the offensive margins, all that stuff, because they're playing against worse
garbage teams.
Yes.
Which is exactly what Wichita State is doing.
Well, but Gonzaga...
So then why is Gonzaga a consensus number 1 and Wichita State is a consensus 10?
Well, Gonzaga beat a bunch of teams in their non-conference. Gonzaga's non-conference schedule is stacked.
Exactly.
Like I'm pretty sure they beat Duke this year. I'm pretty sure they played all those Pac-12 teams. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but they were 32-1. So I mean, and their one loss came to BYU.
Yeah.
Which is a game that they should have hammered them. But
fair.
So
but I mean, I don't know. We don't really have time for it. So
I understand where you're coming from, but it's like one of those things. It's a logistical thing. It's like the rankings are
completely arbitrary.
They come from a committee, right? It's not for sure. Like if you're number 1 in the Pac-12, you're going to get a number 1 seed. You know what I mean?
Well, we're going to have the same argument.
Like Arizona won the Pac-12, they're a number 2.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but look, I mean, we're not going to argue that the teams in front of them aren't better.
But they were a top 5 team pretty much most of the season, right?
But so was Gonzaga. And
yeah, that's fair. Yes.
So were all the other teams, right? So, anyways, we only
I don't know why Duke got a 2 though. That kind of pissed me off.
We only got about 30 seconds, Pete. So I kind of want to wrap it up.
Okay.
We've had a great argument
Happy
about this.
tournament.
So we'll update you on our brackets next week if you want to follow along. My bracket probably won't do too well because I'm uneducated on all of this. And Pete is a little bit more educated. We had a similar bracket though, Pete?
Yeah, we did.
I don't know. If you want to check out my thoughts on the NCAA tournament, check out bigandtallsportsblog.wordpress.com. That's going to do it. For Pete, I'm Alec, and we will catch you all next week.